Amazing Technic front loader. You don't see many amazing Technic front loaders like this. Most amazing part of this is I was able to get this from Amazon for under $10. And I am surprised I was able to get any Legos, let alone a Technic Lego kit for under $10. Let's go ahead and open this up, find out what all the cool excitement about this is. First part is understanding how to open the box. And I usually like to open it without destroying said box. Looks like I'm going to want to come over here, if I can, and pull out this piece. And if I can't pull it out, I'm going to destroy it anyway. So I'm going to take a knife, and we're just going to come over here. And you always cut away from yourself if you're going to cut anything, so you don't cut yourself. Oh, you know what? Didn't even see it. There's a little pop and rip section here. Pop and rip. Because they designed it and thought of it and just couldn't see it because of the lack of light, apparently. All right, so we've got a rubber tire. All-terrain, I'm sure. We've got an instruction set. Put in front of my Insta-Lens replacement. We've got, interesting, back in the day they used to be clear plastic. Now it's like a paper baggie. Unwrapped. Makes sense. The tires don't really need protection. You just need 4 of them. 4 rubber tires. Unwrapped the front end load piece. Important. Unwrapped a couple of Technic. These are the, looks like these are the lift pieces, and then the other bag. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and follow directions. Look, open this way. I'm gonna go ahead and just open it on up the way it showed me. I'll pour out the Legos like that. Throw it in there. And I like, when I do my Lego sets, to gather my pieces up in a way that makes sense to me, which is all the similar pieces next to each other, because it makes them easier to find when you're building. And because this is a front end loader, there's going to be a number of pieces that are paired up. So screw. One of those. All right, we got pretty much the similar pieces there together. We got one more to pop open. Careful not to have them fly everywhere. This one's a bag of much smaller pieces. I really don't want them to go flying everywhere. Make sure you get all the pieces of the bag, even the ones that don't want to come out. Bag is empty. Bag is empty. Or the empty bags in the box. All right, now, again, like I said, I like to gather my pieces up so they're in similar areas. So we're going to do that right now. Interesting. They have those in different bags. Gears can go together. Now, I'm going to call attention to a couple of pieces in here in just a moment, because they're a bit different, and I want to make sure that that is obvious. So if anyone else buys this set, you know to pay attention to them, because there will be a test later, and the test will be whether you successfully manage to pull off this build or fail. And we want all successful passes on this. We don't want any failures at all. Again, you gotta be really careful not to have any pieces get knocked away from where you're working, especially when you're dealing with the little itty bitty pieces. And there are some little tiny little clear pieces here too. So you gotta be really careful not to lose those. Unless you've got a really deep bench of other pieces that you can use to salvage your mistake. And we'll keep those together. All right, and okay, I mentioned that I was going to call out a specific piece, and what I'm going to call out are these guys. So these guys, think of them sort of as nails, but with these in the center. So they've got a flat head to them. There's 3 of them, 3 different sizes, 3 different colors. So that's probably going to be pretty important as we move along here. All right, so we're going to go through this build. And it shows to do exactly what I did, which is shake the pieces on out. Apparently there's some builder software, but who needs builder software? Not me. You shouldn't need builder software either, because you, by watching this video, are in default a builder extraordinaire. All right. Step 1. Let's see if I can put you. There we go. We need one of these. There's only one of these long blue ones, and one of these guys, which looks like this. So it's got a pass through here and a cross hatch there. So we're going to stick this into and all the way through like that. Then we're going to take one of the yellows. It's a 3 length. You can actually measure it right there on the page. That's a match, and it's going to go in there vertical, like so. Okay, and then we're going to take the piece that looks like this, or step number 3, and make sure you get this on here right. You're going to take it and you're going to go straight on down, just like that. Now this is where generally a ball would go into of some sort, or some sort of matching lineup piece. But for the moment, actually what we're going to do is we're going to set that aside. And we're then going to come over to 2 of these, 2 of these, and then 2 of these same pieces. And it's going to go into the crosshatch section. I want it to go in. I'm having trouble getting it to go in. Sometimes you have to put it on something flat and push down to get it to the right spot. There we go. And then one more into the crosshatch section. That one went in too far. You just push it back with your nails and like that. Okay, so now we're taking the piece we assembled earlier. Make sure you line it up the right way. And these are both going to be going in and facing down. In and down, in and down. Okay, now we've got a 5 length. It's actually 1-to-1 scale, lined up perfectly with that. Take another one of these guys, we run it all the way through so it's centered. If you don't get it exactly centered, that's okay. We'll come back to that later. So we're taking the piece that we got. Again, keep pieces lined up the right way. This is going to go right up on top, just like that. Okay. Next up, 2 of the 4x2s, and what I mean by that are these guys. So we take our piece we've been working on, make sure you get it lined up the right way, and we're going to go on the crosshatch piece at the top, and then it will meld with the one at the bottom, and you push it all the way in and locks in. Now this is going to be giving this extra strength and support by putting this in here and reinforcement. And get this one to go in correctly. There we go. Slap it on in. All right, now we've got a couple of these black pieces, and they're going to go in both sides, one side there and one side here. Now these are not the crosshatch pieces, these are the ones that are the rounded pieces here. So we're going to take these two long guys, the 9 spacers, and 2 of the vanilla covered guys like this, and we're going to go into the second hole and the second hole for both. Okay, but we're only doing that for one of these yellow pieces for right now. So second hole, in they go. And we're going to take the piece we've been working on so studiously, and it's going to go. I'm going to have to look at this really tightly because they did a really crap job of showing how that's supposed to go on there, unless it goes on at the very end. Looks like it does go on at the very end. So this is probably going to be the boom arm that goes up and down for the front end load piece, or this piece will be, is what it's looking like. Okay, so that's on. So now we're going to take 2 of the blue ones that says a crosshatch and a round on the other side, and the sleeve is going to be this piece here, and you can only put these in one way. So crosshatch in, like so, and then at the very end it's going to go onto what we've been building. All right, next up we're going to get the gear and the 3-space brown flat nail crosshatch. And we're going to go on. Now it doesn't show if it goes on all the way, but the next one shows that it does go on all the way. We're going to take one of these guys and we're going to put this right down the center, and then 2 of these orange guys are going to go in the ends. One here and one here, like so. Okay, and then
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Somebody was trying to be useful, but in the end was not very useful because Alexa was not useful. But that's okay. It's okay, Alexa. So we have, I'm just looking at this, we've lined this up on here. We're getting one more of the sleeves, and we're putting that sleeve right on the top of this, and it will crosshatch right on in, like so. But it still allows it to turn. Okay, now, 1-to-1, we're taking this 4-length flat nail piece, effectively, crosshatch, and one of the black star-like guys, and we're going to slide it all the way down. And then we're going to get one of these black spacers and just drop it on top. And so once we've done that, we're going to get the last one of these middle pieces, put it on, and 2 of the 3-inch yellows are going to go on each end there. And there. So now that we have both those on, we've got now a number of pieces that are getting assembled. And so you can see this is one of the pieces assembled, not really doing anything yet for us. Another piece assembled, not quite there yet. And another piece assembled, getting there, but not done just yet. All right, now it looks like we're going to start doing some assembly. So we take this piece here, and we take this piece we've been working on assembling, and we just line them right up and match them together. Crosshatch, in they go. Important you don't do it, well, they rotate, or at least the bottom one rotates. All right, now we have this piece here that looks sort of like a window, and we're going to take it, we're going to put it, the bottom is the crosshatch, so it has to line up, and then the top is a crosshatch. It will go through. It's going to stop it from being able to rotate, and on it goes, just like that. So it's actually still this piece rotates, but it rotates together now. Okay, so now we're picking back up what we've been working on. And this piece here is going to match up with that piece there. I'm trying to get a good view on how this lines up, because the Okay, so this is actually going to be higher. So it's interesting. They didn't do a very good job of showing how this goes on here, actually. But it goes on to this top section up here. And then it just sort of floats. So there's not a whole bunch holding it on there just yet. That's going to change in just a moment, I am sure. So we come over to the next slide. Next slide. You get the other piece, and it goes on the other side. So it's going to line up. So it's going to go through first one, and then it's going to come to the second one here. And if you do it wrong, like I just did, you end up with it not lining up correctly for the next piece. So I'm going to have to take it out and flip it the right way, which is this way. So one, top is going to lock in on the bottom, and then they're going to push all the way in. Push that one through a little bit more. All right, so now we have a piece with a gear that can turn in the center freely. All right, I did a good job of fixing that up, so that works. So now we need three more of, actually one more of these, and one of these guys. And it's a crosshatch, so you have to put it through where the crosshatch goes. We're going to go to the middle point on this crosshatch, like so. And then we're going to take, there's only one of these, and we're going to put it through the crosshatch. And then we're going to take another one of the 3-piece lengths. We're going to match up the length on the other piece. And through we go to about there. All right, now on here we're going to put another one of these little black sleeves. And I said there was only one of those pieces. I was wrong. There were two of those pieces, which is good because that second piece is going to go on this other side. And it's going to go something. I should realign them a little bit because I didn't get that one quite where it needs to be. There we go. Something like this. Okay, so now we're going to go for one of these yellow window-like guys. And it's just going to go in just like that right there. Very easy. We're going to take one of these 5-inch lengths. And looking for a certain piece to go with it. It's a piece that looks like this. This one, there is only one piece of this type. And it is going to go through the hatch part. Voila. Okay, so we're then going to take a 3 length, and we're going to put it through the bottom piece and center it up, like so. Okay, now we have this. We're taking two, there's only two of these guys, of these gray 3 lengths with a little adder. The adder is going to go on the bottom, and so it's going to slide in like this, and voila, just like that. And then the same thing for the other piece. It's going to go in, and now it's locked up. And straighten that out a little bit more. There we go, looks good. Two of the bluebies. So the bluebies are the rounds on one side and hatches on the other. And in this case, the hatches are going to go in like so. Okay, so they're like that. Now, we have another window. But we're going to use the existing window instead. And it's going to go like this. The blue is going to be sticking out of the bottom. And it's going to go and match onto the yellow and the gray. Let me move this yellow in just a tiny bit. Like that. Okay, so it's going to look like this. All right, we put this down and grab one of the elbows and a 5-length gray and 2 end caps and the gear. The black gear is going to go right smack in the center. Okay, and then we're going to lock it in place. I'm going to call these washers, and it doesn't matter which way you put them on because they're flat on both sides. They're basically short little spacers. They're not the black cylinders. Those give you free rotation. This is not set up that way. Okay, so we've put that on there. And now we're going to come back to this window that we have here. And from what it's showing on here, the windows are going to stick like this. And the gear, they did not do a very great job. Okay, so the arrow comes across. They're showing the gear is going to go in. It gets inserted into the very interesting. I'm not sure if even if it's inserted in there, it's going to be able to do anything because how is it supposed to spin? I don't believe I mispositioned anything on this either. The gear is not going to happily go in this position because the spacing behind it is bad. Can't go there. It's not going to go it can go there. It's just going to be badly angled if it's in there. Which makes me think something is amiss. Yeah, because this is going to be attaching to the worm gear. It's got to be able to rotate freely. And where it's at and how it is right now, it's just not going to rotate freely. Which means something is wrong in this window build. I'm going to pull this back out for a second. And then we're going to attempt to figure out what's going on with this window build that's causing this problem. So when this was put in, goes in there. I'm just going to pull this section out for a second. Okay, so this section has to be in here like this. It is showing, pull this out, put this back in through here. It is showing that it has to go like I had it attached. You, and then you. The only way this really works is if this spacing is further apart and not flush on each other, which doesn't make a lot of sense. So I've got this gear which is building into the worm gear. And it has to be in that back piece. Well, this is really weird. I don't think this is the way this design is supposed to be. But we'll go with it for a moment. So the worm gear is going to go on the back of this here, like so. And then it gets attached through the front, like so. And it goes all the way back and through until it gets to the point there, like that. Now that is in the right spot, but that worm gear is never going to rotate because that's too tight of a pinch. And this in the back effectively ends up becoming the handle. Well, I say it will never do it, but it's just going to be really, really, really tight to pull it off. Okay, well, you know, we'll try this. I don't like the way this is building out. It seems really awkward at the moment to me. So on here, this elbow goes down like this. Okay, and then we put this window in play. It ends up really stressing this plastic to do it this way, and I can't imagine that this is what they had in mind for this thing to be so stressed. Yeah, no, I don't like how this is playing out at all. Although it is moving that piece around like it should. Well, you know, we're going to try it one more time. I'm not a fan of how tight this is going to be as a result of this. And it really, really, really has a lot of friction going on as a result of how tight this is because of the way this is stressing the plastic. I'm not even sure I can get this last piece on there correctly as a result of how tight this has become. Well, children, this is not how I recommend doing technic. It should not require you to use pliers to tap something into place and get it to lock in. It is crazy levels worth of tightening to get this to go into place like this. It really, really does not want to be in place in this manner. It's actually trying to push this bottom plastic piece out of position. Like completely wanting to push it out of position. I'm going to try to get it to lock in, but it does not want to do so at all. Okay, so I got the yellow piece that's not wanting to catch into the right spot, but it just really, really does not want to do this latch piece on here like this. And the more I shove at it, the more it's basically saying nope and hell no. Sorry for the language, kids. I've never actually had a Lego be this tight on its tolerance before. And I don't know why they've designed it this way. I mean, I can hazard a guess as to the why. It's because it's got to hold the weight of whatever you put in the bin, so when the bin's up, it actually holds it still. But it's like the thing wants to rip itself apart while it's trying to move. And that's just crap for design. Okay, well, I've got the other window on. It is not pretty at all. It, like I said, it really does not want to be doing this join whatsoever. And it's so much so, even with pliers, trying to squeeze it into place, which you should never have to do with Legos, it is totally resisting the attempt to get it into the right spot. This bottom, you can see what's going on. This bottom yellow piece just does not want to get in to this other side because I can't literally bend the plastic enough to get it over, to get it to latch onto that piece correctly. So I push the tar out of it, maybe. But even doing that, it just does not want to. And then when I get it to go close, it just pushes the piece out of the way on the bottom. I wonder if I pull both pieces back some, if I have a chance to get it to go in correctly at that point. If the worm gear, the mate, was actually smaller, this would not be running into this problem like this. But it's not, I honestly did not think I would have this problem putting this together. Again, I understand why they've got it with so much friction so that it locks the thing in place really tight. But this is ridiculous of how much friction there is involved in this. I'm honestly surprised that I've not snapped this trying to get this to fit. Oh, and every time I try pushing it hard, it just pushes that other piece right back out. Stressed from the piece because I don't see any way to get that bottom piece lined up and in there correctly. Not without shattering the build. literally shattering it. The amount of torque that's going to be needed on there to get that in place is just beyond what I'm willing to do for the Lego without destroying it. So, we're not going to destroy it. Alright, well, this piece comes in and wow, I really wish they had a better view on how that was supposed to line up in there. They just show it sort of sitting here, which that can't be true because it's got to be sitting on top of this piece here. So it's got to be like that on here. Oh, well, there's no way in hell with how tight that is this will ever turn that other piece. It's supposed to be a loose turning to make that happen, and it just won't. I know I did not mess this build up for putting this piece together. So something is off. And not like just a little bit off either, but a lot of it off. And it's got to come down to this gear going onto here. You know what it is? I bet it's this gear itself. Alright, the gear that's supposed to be getting used for this, I bet is not the one that they gave me that I'm using. It's not. That's not the right gear for what I've got on here. But I don't think I have any other gear to go on it. So the gear that's included, the one I've been trying to use, is a black gear. It's got like 12 gear pieces to it. What I need is a gear that's got like maybe 6 to it. Unless I had a piece literally go missing or not come out of one of the bags. Check the bag one more time. It is a small piece. Nothing missing. Nothing missing. And no other piece inside here. So the gear that's supposed to be getting used should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 gear pieces on it. The one that I've been trying to use, which hasn't been working because it's the wrong one, has like 12 on it, which is why this build is not working. Now I think, if I can find my Lego box, I have that gear somewhere I can dig out. So let me try to find my Lego box. Digging out my old box of Legos, and I found the gear that is needed for this build, which they did not provide me. Or did they? And I used the wrong one at the other end of this piece here. That could very well be what my problem was that was not the right piece. Let's go back and look. That was one of the earlier pieces done. The black Lego section. Well, there I was thinking I used the right piece and they gave me the wrong one. I went digging through my own Legos to find the right piece, and I used the wrong piece on here. So that was my bad. I should have used the black piece on here. Which then would go onto this, like that, so that that can turn. And then that would have freed up this piece, which I just went digging in my old Lego box to find and found. So that then goes on this gear. So I apologize, Lego. That's on me for using the wrong piece. And then goes there like that. And then this goes here, which fits in without me having to shatter the thing, trying to get it to move. Which then has the window. Go on without stressing the tar out of everything. I still didn't get this lined up right. There we go. Now it freely moves like it was supposed to the entire time. Go back to where I had been at. This piece gets attached here. So I'm not going to delete out the part that I screwed up because I screwed it up. But it also helped me find where I put my Legos, which was important too. So we're going to come here. And then the swarm gear is going to get put into position to start with. And then goes through just like that. And then this goes on the back. And it turns easy like I thought it should. So I knew something was wrong, and it was me. I was wrong. And then we're going to come back to the large piece here. And we're going to work on getting you put where you should be. It's going to be like this, and it's going to rest on top of that like that. So turning that will move that up and down like it should. Okay. So now we're going to take this last long piece, second hole, and it's going to go on here. Like so. Okay, we're going to take the last 5 length. We're going to take one of these. We're going to run the threaded crosshatch through. We're going to put a sleeve on it and then another crosshatch through. Like so. And then it's going to go here facing down. So it's now mounted on there facing down. Take another elbow. This elbow matches the other elbow. On and on. Gives us our fork. We're going to take this guy with the last 2 of these yellow 3-length crosshatches. Hook them up with it like that. We're going to take one of the 5 lengths, which is these guys, and we're going to put it in far end and down like that. Okay, and that is going to get attached to the back. This is then going to be the cab top, like so. Take another one of these lengths, and we're going to put it on the other side. That was impressive, but not what I intended to have happen there. Like so. And we're going to go with these 2 guys, and they go across the back hatch to combine it together. So now these will not be free floating. they will be one continuous piece. Okay, and then we take the two smaller ones and they go up at the top and do the same thing. So we're not loosey-goosey up at the top. And across, connect, and connect, connect, like that. Okay, and then we have these guys, and they are going to go along the bottom. They're effectively, they look like mud flaps. There's only one right way for them to go on. If you put them on the wrong way, it doesn't make it look like an airplane. So make it look like an airplane with very small airplane wings. Okay, we'll put that down for a second. And then we're going to take two of these guys and the half grays, and we're going to stick them in. In you go. And in you go. And then these are going to come back up over here, and they're going to hang down with the little pieces looking to the front. Okay, like that. And I have a suspicion these are where the little headlights are going to go. Okay. Actually, I'm sure of it because I looked at the box and the box shows them there. Okay, we got the last two of these. And we take two of the blacks. And one. And two. Okay, and towards the back, they're going to go over here next to this ball pit. These are what's going to prop it up when it's on its legs, so to speak. Okay, and then we have the last two elbows. We're going to take, I say last two, we have one elbow to start with. Put one of the crosshatch rounds in through it, and then the same piece, but on the other ends. Again, crosshatch and in. And then we're going to get the red and the ball joint, which is this big piece here. And we'll stick it on this side of the ball joint. And then this ball joint is going to join up right here like this. And then this is an interesting setup because it's not going to go perfectly angled. It's going to go like that because this is where the backhoe is going to get attached. So I'm going to take this and it's going to go in at an angle, which is interesting. So it goes in at an angle. Ball joint, top piece. Oop, I put it upside down. Now I'm a bit confused. Turn you around. Turn you this way. And then that way. Okay. And then take you. It goes in the ball joint like that. Now we're supposed to turn it around again and take this piece. And this piece goes in the front because there's no other way for it to go. Like that. Okay. And then we take you. And you are where the dump truck piece goes. Okay, now we're going to get our tires set up. Okay, that's 1. Do it 4 times. That's 2. That's 3. And that's 4. Okay, and then we put the tires on the truck. And you want the rivets facing outwards. Interesting, because it didn't actually tell me to put the lights on here, but I mean, there's only one way this is supposed to go. So the lights got to go on the lights. Lights. And lights. Now I do seem to have some pieces left over. I'm not sure where those leftover pieces were supposed to go. Trying to see if I can even see where it told me to put the lights on. Okay, the lights are shown as going on here. Well, I do seem to have a few leftover pieces, but my little piece, it is done. It is a functional dump truck with a little scooper arm, with little lift-up legs, so it can be lifted up while it's out scooping up stuff. So, fun little build. I did screw up on my side. I thought I was missing a piece, which then led me to a frantic search for it. Turns out I wasn't missing it. I just had it in the wrong spot, which can happen. So, thanks for joining me for the build.